be using the e-voting system as all members
has joined the meeting.
If you require a recorded vote, the clerk will call for a roll call. I'm going to ask the clerk to explain how the electronic meeting will proceed today.
Has joined the meeting.
Thank you. We have members participating electronically and members who are present in the chamber. This is quite unusual. We recognize that. We ask for your patience. We ask that when you're not speaking, you have your participation on your phone on mute. If you wish to ask a question or to speak, please send an email to clerks@durham.ca. And I think that's it, Chair.
Thank you. Clerk, could I please have you do a roll call?
Right. I should also mention that every vote will be recorded and it will be done by a roll call because the members who are not present can't participate with the electronic voting system. And for the purposes of accountability and transparency, we'll do it that way. The meeting is being streamed off our website as well. Rogers is taking our stream and making it available to the public. So for the roll call, Anderson, absent. Ash, present. Barton,
Present.
Bat-Hadden, Bat-Hadden,
Here.
Brett,
Here.
Carter, absent. Chapman, present. Collier,
Here.
Crawford,
Durham has joined the meeting.
Here.
Crawford, thank
Here.
you. Guy,
Here.
Drew,
Here.
Foster, here. Hyatt,
Here.
Hare, here. Leahy,
Present.
Lee,
Present.
Marin Pietri,
Present. Good morning.
McLean,
Has joined the meeting.
here. McLean, here. Mitchell,
Present.
Mulcahy, Mulcahy, is that a present? One more time, Mulcahy. Carol, is your opinion that's an absent? Absent. Joe Neal.
Present.
John Neal.
Present.
Nicholson.
Present.
Pickles.
Present.
Roy. Roy. Absent. Mayor Ryan is absent. Smith.
Present.
Watson.
Present.
Yamada.
Present.
Chair Henry, you are present. Chair Henry, you have quorum.
Thank you. Members of council, declaration of interest. Okay, Mr. Clerk, hearing none, we'll move on. Notice, move on to notices motion. Motion 3.1, a motion to amend the procedural bylaw to allow for
Has joined the meeting.
at committee and council and local board meetings during a declared emergency. Moved by myself, seconded by Mayor Foster. Item 3.1. Comments or questions? Hearing none. Mr. Clerk, could you do a vote, please?
Yes, and I will acknowledge that there were a couple of other people logging on, so I expect they will show up during the recorded vote.
Okay, yes, thank you.
All right, so the motion is to adopt a notice of motion, which is 3.1 about electronic meetings. I'll start to call the vote. Anderson? Is absent. Ash?
Yes.
Barton?
Yes.
Pat Haddon?
Yes.
Brenner? Yes. Carter is absent. Chapman?
Yes.
Collier?
Yes.
Crawford?
Yes.
Dyes?
Yes.
Drew?
Yes.
Foster?
Yes.
Hyatt?
Yes.
Kerr? Leahy?
Yes.
Lee?
Yes.
Maren Pietri?
Yes.
McLean?
Yes.
Mitchell?
Yes, and I'm wondering if it's procedurally possible to just ask for anyone opposed rather than go through this roll call every time.
Mr. Clerk?
We're in new ground, Chair. We, at least for this vote, I think we should complete it.
Let's complete it.
Mulcahy? John Neal?
Yes.
Joe Neal?
Yes.
Nicholson?
Yes.
Pickles?
Yes.
Roy?
Yes.
Smith?
Yes.
Watson?
Yes.
Yamada?
Yes.
Chair Henry?
Yes.
Carried.
That carries. Councillor Ash, you have a motion for the bylaws to be amended? Number 4.
Mr. Chair, I move the bylaws.
Moved by Councillor Ash, seconded by, have to say who seconds it.
Wilma Watson.
Collier, second. Seconded by Wilma Watson. On the bylaw, 13-2020.
We want to simply ask if anybody's opposed.
Yeah. So is there anyone opposed to this bylaw? Hearing none, that carries. Councillor Ash, confirming bylaw, please.
Moved by myself and second by Councillor Chapman, that bylaw number 14/2020 being a bylaw to confirm the proceedings the Council of the Regional Municipality of Durham at their special meeting held on the 25th day of March 2020 be passed.
Any member of council opposed? Hearing none, that carries. Councillor Ash, motion to adjourn.
Moved by myself and second by Councillor Chapman to adjourn.
Anyone opposed to, any member of council opposed to adjourning? Hearing none, that carries. We're adjourned to our next meeting at
9:30.
Thank you. Thank you, members of council. Please put your phones on mute.
Cheryl Bantam.
Download the free Stingray Music mobile app.
one day at a time. I've never been happier in my life. If you have a problem with alcohol, contact AA. It works for me. And for me. And for me.
Everybody knows that's what's good. But wait a minute. When are you together with one
Thank you. We are currently located on the land which has long served as a site of meeting and exchange among the Mississaugas people and is the traditional and treaty territory of the Mississaugas of Scugog First Nation. We honor and recognize the nation and Indigenous people as the traditional stewards of the lands and waters of which we meet today. Members of council, we will not be using the e-voting system as not all members are in the present today, and if you require a recorded vote, the clerk will call. And as we start the meeting, I just want to say thank you to all of our IT staff for the great work they've done pulling this together, and thank the clerk's office for their leadership in making this happen. So, Mr. Clerk, thank you to you and your team.
Has joined the meeting.
Clerk, would you like to explain what will happen
Has
today?
joined the meeting.
Thank you, Chairman. The rules of engagement that we had for the first meeting are the same as the second meeting. The one change I would suggest that we've adopted from that meeting is that if there is, all of our votes should be recorded, but if the chair will, rather than necessarily do a recorded vote, the chair will ask if anyone is opposed, so that would potentially speed up our process. But right now, I will do a roll call to ascertain who's present. Anderson.
Yes.
Absent. Oh, present.
I am present.
Present.
Barton.
Present.
Beth Haddon.
Present.
Brenner. Carter.
Has joined the meeting.
Here. Parker. Chapman.
Present.
Collier.
Present.
Crawford.
Present.
Dodds.
Present.
Rude. Rude. Absent. Foster.
Present.
Hyatt.
Present.
Kerr. Leahy.
Present.
Lee.
Present.
Maren Pietri.
Present.
McLean.
Present.
Mitchell.
Present.
Mulcahy. Mulcahy. Absent. John Neal.
Present.
Joe Neal.
Present.
Nicholson.
Present.
Pickles.
Present.
Roy.
Present.
Smith.
Present.
Watson.
Present.
Yamada.
Present.
Chair Henry is present. We have a quorum.
Bobby Drew is present.
Yes, I have a declaration. Councillor Maren Pietri. Declaration is on the Committee of the Whole report, item 6, as well as the Regional Council agenda. I believe it's report 2 of the Works Committee. The item is relating to the purchase, the acquisition of property required for future transit facility. Declaration is that I have family impacted by the purchase, as they have purchased property, own property, and further reside in the immediate area known as Northwoods Business Park.
Councillor Maren Pietri, in accordance with our processes and procedures, would you kindly confirm your conflict with an email, please?
That has been done on both
Thank you.
accounts. I would just ask that a recorded vote be made so that I could further substantiate the declaration. Thank you.
Any others? Members of council? Members of council, this is going to be a very interesting meeting, so I...
Mr. Chair? Members of council, this is going, sorry.
Sorry, I didn't hear anything that was just said.
Yeah, we were having trouble hearing that as well.
Okay. Members of council, this is going to be a very interesting meeting with lots of moving pieces, so I'm going to ask for your patience. I also want you to be aware that I've given verbal notice, and I will give written notice to the clerk that 2 weeks from today we will be calling a special meeting of council so that we can update members of council on what has happened both at the federal and provincial level, and it needs to be done. So I want members of council to be aware that that will happen. We'll move on.
Mr. Chair. Mr. Chair.
Councilor, you'll have to say your name when you're speaking, Councilor Anderson.
Yeah. There are a lot of background noise. I can hardly hear what you're saying.
Okay. I will do my best to speak up. Okay. Members of council, we will move on to the next item. Sorry. We'll move on to the next item, announcement. Thank you. There are none. We'll move on to the presentations. There are none. Could I call for a motion to adopt minutes for the regional council meeting?
Councilor Pietri will move that motion.
Councilor Lee, second.
Seconded. On the February 26th minutes, Councilor Watt.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I'd just like to point out that on item 11.1, number 5, A and B, the minutes correctly note that I had a conflict of interest, but I'd just like to say I hit the wrong button and actually do not, and would like it noted that I did not and do not have a conflict of interest on that item. Thank you.
Okay. Mr. Clerk, I'm looking for nod. He's got that. So on item 6.1, hearing no other comments, I'll call the vote. All those in favor? Sorry. Anyone opposed? Hearing no one opposed, that carries. On 6.2, I have a mover. Moved by Councilor Ash, seconded by Councilor Leahy. Anyone opposed? That carries. On 6.3, mover, Councilor Kerr.
Marilyn Frost has left the meeting.
Anyone opposed? Anyone with comments? Councilor Smith. Hearing none. All those in favor? That carries. Correspondence. Item number 7. I'm looking for a receipt of information.
Wilma Watt will move it.
Moved by Councilor Watt.
Pickles a second.
Councilor Pickles. Comments or questions?
Offered Story has joined the meeting.
Yeah, my question, Mr. Chair, is this an award that the region is, or the finance department has received in the past? This is on CC05.
Yes, I will go to Ms. Taylor.
Yes, that's correct.
I'm not hearing anything.
Yes, that is correct. Something we've received in the past.
Like many times over?
That's correct. We are pleased to say it is a reward we've received frequently.
Okay, thank you.
Hearing no. Councilor Chapman?
Yeah, Chair, I'd like to make an amendment that if we receive her information and the council congratulate the commissioner on all the work that was done to achieve this award.
So your amendment is to congratulate
Councilor Pietri will second that.
Seconded by Councilor Pietri. Hearing no other comments on the amendment. Anyone opposed? That carries. On the main motion, Hearing no voice. That carries. Congratulations, Ms. Taylor, to you and your team. Okay,
Mr. Chair, Mr. Chair, point of order. Should we not be at least saying yes, even if we're just saying yes? It just strikes me as a negative vote is not really a vote. That's all. So
Okay, so Councillor Neal, we had accepted that practice during the last meeting, where we would ask if there was anyone opposed. We voted during our last meeting. If you are requesting to go back to a roll call, I have no problem with that.
no, Mr. Chair, that just came off the floor. No discussion. I'm just saying, would it not make sense to at least ask all in favor, and everybody says yes, and then any opposed? That's all. Like, is that a huge imposition for anybody to? We didn't formally adopt anything. Like,
Councillor Neal, I will do that.
Okay, great. Thank you.
Okay, members of council, if you would please go to. There are no delegations on item 8. Notice of motion, Councillor Ash.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. The motion is moved by myself and second by Regional Chair Henry. Whereas Section 2591 of the Municipal Act 2001 provides that the office of a member of a municipality is vacant if the member is absent from the meetings of council for 3 successive months without being authorized to do so by the resolution of council. Now, therefore, be resolved the Durham Regional Council authorize Councillor Ryan to be absent, and further resolve that the Durham Regional Council authorize Councillor Ryan to be absent should a further resolution be required under Section 2591 for an ongoing absence.
Moved and seconded. Comments or questions? Sorry. Hearing none. All those in favor?
Yes.
Opposed? Opposed, that carries. Members of council, we'll move on to item
Rhonda Mulcahy has joined the meeting.
So members of council, we have another notice of motion. I'll have the clerk read it. It will take 2/3 to introduce.
Members of council, I've received a motion from Councillor Brenner, seconded by Councillor Pickles. To consider it today, it would require a 2/3 vote. The motion is that the regional municipality of Durham requests the government of Ontario to implement measures to prioritize the testing and reporting of results for all first responders in Ontario, and that a copy of this motion be forwarded to the Honourable Premier Doug Ford and all Durham MPPs.
Recorded vote on the motion to change rules.
So, the member of council just spoken. Members of council, you'll have to say your name.
Sorry. Record a vote, please.
Okay, just give me 1 second. So, members of council, too, when you're not talking, I'm going to ask that you put your phones on mute. There are a lot of background noises coming through the system. So, I'm going to have Berger do a roll call on this for the 2/3, please.
Anderson.
Randall Anderson, yes.
Ash.
Yes.
Martin.
Yes.
Pat Haddon.
Yes.
Brenner.
Yes.
Chapman.
Yes.
Collier.
Yes.
Crawford.
Yes.
Dodds.
Yes.
Yes. Foster.
Yes.
Hyatt.
Yes.
Kerr. Leahy.
Yes.
Lee.
Yes.
Marin Pietri.
Yes.
McLean.
Yes.
Mitchell.
Yes.
Mulcahy.
Yes.
John Neal.
Yes.
Joe Neal.
Yes.
Nicholson.
Yes.
Pickles.
Yes.
Roy.
Yes.
Smith.
Yes.
Watson.
Yes.
Yamada.
Yes.
Chair Henry.
Members of council, access 2/3 to get onto the floor.
Yes.
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 Members of council, I'm going to ask if you would like to present the agenda on item number 2. Members of council,
I can't hear that, Mr. Chair.
okay, I'll try again.
Can hear.
Members of council, I'm going to ask if you'd like to do a consent on the committee reports.
Yes, Councillor Chapman, moved by myself, seconded by Councillor Ash for a consent agenda.
Okay, moved and seconded.
Sure.
Members of council, on the consent agenda, I will need to have items. Item 1 of the Health and Social Services report needs to be pulled so as we may identify 2 members of council to sponsor the nomination of Councillor Chapman. So we'll call for items to be pulled. And bear with us because it'll just take a second to write them all down. Okay.
Mr. Chair, Councillor Marin Pietri, just wanted to ask that the 2 items that I made a declaration on procedurally would be pulled and voted on separately so that I would not be a part of the vote.
1 second, please.
Thank you.
Councillor Mayor Petrie, can you identify them so I can have those numbers, please, again, please?
Certainly. They're identified as item 6 of the Committee of the Whole. I believe it's report 6 and report 2 of the Works Committee agenda of the Regional Council meeting of March 25th, 2020.
The Works item to be pulled?
Mr. Chairman, can we get everybody to put their phones on mute? Because all I can hear is pages being turned.
Okay. Members of council, please do that. Councillor Mayor Petrie, can you give me the Works number again, please?
Certainly, it's report 2. Both items deal with the acquisition of property required for a future transit facility in the city of Oshawa.
Okay, thank you. Any other items to be pulled? Councillor Joe Neal.
Yeah, I was wanting to pull item 6 and 7 on the finance report and number 2 on the Committee of the Whole. Please.
Okay, any other items to be pulled? So, Mr. Clerk, I'm going to do a quick recap. So, for Councillor Miriam Pietri's conflicts, it would be item 6, Committee of the Whole, item 2 in Works. Councillor Joe Neal has asked for item 6 and 7 of Finance, and item number 2 of Committee of the Whole. Are there any other items to be pulled? In that case, Mr. Clerk, call for a vote on the remainder. All those in favor say yes.
Yes. Yes.
Yes.
Opposed? None, that carries. We'll start with, so just, this is going to take a couple seconds, so just bear with us.
Randall Anderson here. Aye.
Councillor Anderson, go ahead.
Can you ask folks to put their phone on mute? All I'm hearing is a lot of background noise.
Okay. Members of council, and I'll put mine on while I'm going to the right pages. So. Okay. We'll start with item 6 in Finance, Councillor Joe Neal.
Yeah, thanks, Mr. Chair. I guess the reason I pulled this is the payments to former councillor members. Some of them are close to 100,000. Some there's one that's well over that. I think it's a total of 625,000. Many of the members just decided on their own not to run, and I don't think that's a good use of taxpayers' money to be funding that. But I just thought that shouldn't pass without comment. That, you know, when you're getting a check on the way out for almost 6 figures or more, I think there's something wrong with that whole idea. That, I mean, it's one thing if you run and don't win, but if you just on your own decide not to run, it's, you know, like if you're in a job and you resign, you don't get a severance payment normally. So, thank you.
Any other comments on item 6? Seeing none, I will call the vote. All those in favor say yes.
Yes.
Yes. Yes.
Yes.
Opposed? That carries. Councillor Joe Neal, item number 7 of Finance.
I guess what I see on page 97 is additional approvals allowed without I guess even council being brought into the picture. Is for consulting services, you can go up to 20% over the approved contract. So it was 10%. I don't agree with the doubling of that to 20%. I think we should have more cost containment on that. The other thing I guess that concerns me is a department head can reallocate $250,000 now without notification to the treasurer. So those are two things I think are concerning. I think we should be, especially as tax, many of our taxpayers are going to be struggling to pay their bills. especially if you've lost your job, for example. So I'm not sure why we would, as a council, be seeking to loosen up the ability of a department head to spend more money than what's been approved. So I've spoken to it. I can't move an amendment, Mr. Chair, but I'll ask for a recorded vote, please, on that.
Councillor Anderson.
Yes.
Kevin Ash.
Ash.
Yes.
Barton.
Yes.
Pat Haddon.
Has left the meeting.
Brenner.
Yes.
Carter.
Yes.
Chapman.
Yes.
Collier.
Yes.
Crawford.
Yes.
Dies. Absent.
Yes.
Oh, present. And yes. Drew.
Yes.
Foster.
Yes.
Hyatt.
Yes.
Burr.
Yes.
Leahy.
Yes.
Lee.
Yes.
Maren Pietri. Yes. McLean.
Yes.
Mitchell.
Has joined the meeting.
Mulcahy.
Yes.
No.
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 Eccles.
Yes.
Roy.
Yes.
Smith.
Yes.
Watson.
Yes.
Yamada.
Yes.
Chair Henry.
Yes.
Carries.
Sorry, we can't hear. Chair Henry, we can't hear you very well.
Can't hear you at all.
Okay. In order to recognize the conflict on ordinance item number 2, I will call for a recorded vote.
Debbie Haddon, I could not hear what John Henry said at all.
Okay. In order to recognize the conflict on ordinance item number 2, I will call for a recorded vote. So item 2, comments or questions? Mr. Clerk?
Anderson.
Yes.
Ash.
Yes.
Barton. Barton.
Yes.
Pat Haddon.
Yes.
Brenner. Carter.
Yes.
Chapman.
Yes.
Collier.
Yes.
Crawford.
Yes.
Dodds.
Yes.
Drew. Foster.
Yes.
Hyatt.
Yes.
Burr. Leahy.
Yes.
Lee.
Yes.
Maren Pietri.
Yes.
Conflict. Oh, conflict.
No, I believe that the conflict is on report 2 of the committee of the whole, item
Thank
1.
you. I'm just doing this publicly so that it's on the record. McLean.
Yes.
Mitchell,
Yes.
Mulcahy,
Yes.
John Neal. Yes. Joe Neal.
Yes.
Nicholson.
Yes.
Yeah.
Roy.
Yes.
Smith.
Yes.
Watson.
Yes.
Kamada.
Yes.
Chair Henry.
Yes. Okay, that carries. Move on to committee of the whole. So committee of the whole, Councilmember Patrick, to be correct, this is the one that you called the conflict on as item number 2?
It's actually item number 1 of committee of the whole, the acquisition of property required for a future transit facility. It's report 2. It's
item 1, though.
Item 1.
So we've just done that recorded vote. We will identify it as item 1 of committee of the whole.
Okay, so members of council, no, wait 1 second, please.
No, he declined. That was his.
Put your phone on. Can you hear me?
My phone says me.
On that last vote, Councillor, I'm going to call a recorded vote on item 1, on item 1 of committee of the whole again, just so that Councillor Marion Pietri can declare his conflict.
Sure. Mr. Chair. I made a mistake. I intended to pull this
Joanne
item.
Dye
I'd like to speak to it if
has
possible.
left the meeting.
Okay, it's pulled for recording. Sean Collier.
Has left the
can I-
meeting.
Can I speak to it? I pulled the wrong item. Yeah, well, I intended to pull the bus property. I pulled the wrong item. So if you allow me, I'll speak to number 1, and then I didn't really intend to pull I didn't intend to pull the strategic plan item. I intended to pull the bus property. Okay, thank you. Mr. So I guess my concern on this is the amount of property that appears to be wetland. So I did ask that there was the planning department had produced a map that showed the quantity of, I think, wetland. And I think we're paying a lot of money for property that really doesn't have a value. So
Joanne Dye has joined the meeting. Lost you.
Councillor Neal?
So I guess you can't really see it, but there's I think there's a significant portion of this is classified as wetland. Is it my phone that's mute on it?
Move it over there.
Sean Collier
has joined the meeting.
So we're paying about just over 200,000 an acre. And I think there's somewhere probably maybe 8 to 10 acres is wetland. So I think we're overpaying for this piece of land. So I don't know if it would make sense to refer it back, but it's not really an urgent thing. And I don't think, again, the taxpayers shouldn't be paying, 200,000 plus for land that you can't use. So it's about 38 acres, but there's no way you're going to. So if I'm right about that, and I did get the map from the planning department, that means we're paying about 1.6 million to 2 million for land that is unusable. It would, in a normal circumstance, if somebody was going to develop that, you'd have to dedicate it or something to the, the municipality or whatever. But why are we sort of paying that kind of money for wetland is beyond me. So I don't support paying $8 million for, if it's 8 or 10 acres or whatever that you can't use, has no value. Why are we doing that? Now, I looked at the appraisal. The appraisal said there's a small amount is wet, small amount is wetland. Well, it's not a small amount of 8 acres. So I think, personally, it should go back to the, who's ever in charge and look at that again. But, I did take the trouble of looking through the appraisal, and I don't think they really looked at that issue about how much is wetland. So is that wetland? Yes.
Can you hear me? Okay. So if I did send along the appraisal to Councillor Neal, as he suggested, there were approximately a half a dozen comparables in that appraisal. We actually got a very good price per acre on this property. We acknowledge that there is a portion of it that is wetland, but when you buy a parcel, you buy a parcel. We did take a careful look at that to make sure that we would still get our 30 acres approximately for the use of the transit site, and we will. And the price that came in is well under prices that we're paying per acre across the region. So we believe we got quite a good deal for this property, and it meets all of the parameters that the transit department asked us to meet in terms of the search.
Mr. Chair, Councillor Neal. So it says, the appraisal says only a small portion is within a wetland, which could limit development. Well, to me, 8 or 10 acres is not a small portion. That's you're talking about somewhere between 8 and or 20 to 25%.
We voted on work.
20 to 25% of the land is of no value, and we're paying, the equivalent of other lot sizes where there doesn't appear to have been any discount for wetlands. So I don't think it's a good use of taxpayers' money to be paying a developer for that kind of money per acre for wetlands. So I'll ask for a recorded vote. Okay. Councillor Kirk. Microphone. Microphone's on mute.
Can't hear a word.
Can't hear what you're saying.
How's that? Is that better?
Yeah.
It is? Okay, so white means off and green means on. Okay, sorry about that. None of my votes, all my votes have been recorded that way. Okay, thank you, Mr. Chair. Continue. Just a question to you, to staff. With respect to the so-called wetland, is this local land, or is this land that with clean fill and with earth movers and how they develop the property, are these 8 acres usable in the sense that they can be reclaimed and used as productive land for this development?
Mr. Chair, I think I got most of that question, and I think the essence of it was whether or not some of the land that's been deemed wetland can be incorporated into the development of the site. In other words, usable to some extent. Did I get that correct?
Just about. I'm asking whether, in fact, all of those 8 acres with clean fill, backfill, could be elevated to the point where all 8 of them are usable, or are they cloaca land and they can't be built on?
So through the development process, we can work with CLOCA and, in this case, the City of Oshawa to determine how much of the land can be developed for hard development. And by that, I mean the site, its parking, and other uses. Can some of this area be used for more passive uses? Yes, they can. Could they be filled? Not likely. There is a provincially significant wetland adjacent, and so chances of being able to fill any of this are probably slim to none. But we would work with CLOCA and the City of Oshawa to optimize the edges of what is deemed wetland for use in development of the site. I hope I answered your question.
Yes, I think my concern was that at least some of this could be usable. It's not like it's 8 acres that are completely lost, but some, if not all of those 8 acres are in fact usable. I guess that's my usable. Can you hear me okay with this? Because I can't. You can? Oh, good.
So what we were after in a site was about 30 acres of usable land. At this site, we have that. So the additional acreage that has been deemed or may be deemed wetland may be more passively used on the site, green space, things like that. But we've got what we need in terms of what I'm going to term tableland. Now, the boundary gets defined through the development process. So we don't have the exact number yet. So we talk about potentially 6 or 7 acres versus 8. I don't want you to think that the number is either 6 or 7 or 8. At this point in time, we don't know until we go through that process, but we will look to optimize the site.
Okay, so in essence then, if I hear you correctly, because I can't hear me correctly, if I can hear you correctly, those 8 acres are not, if I can use the phrase, necessary to the successful development of this package. It's over 30 acres, of which we require 30 acres to do what we need to do. So it's not as if this land is necessary to the successful development of this property for our use.
That is absolutely correct.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Okay, thank you. Any other members of council wishing to speak to this? Okay, on the item, a recorded vote was called by Councillor Joe Neal. Councillor Neal?
Mr. Chair, would I be permitted to speak to it a second time, or?
Not normally, no. We're not in committee of the whole.
Okay, thank you.
When you're ready, Mr. Clerk. When you're ready, Mr. Clerk.
The reason, Mr. Chair, if I may, I did ask that a map be displayed on the screen because a picture would tell 1,000 words, but you know, there's a little, you can see it, but it's not even visible. So I don't know I don't know why that's not possible, but.
Well, we're doing a lot of things today, Councillor Neal, that I didn't think were possible, and the great work that staff has done. Yeah. So I'm sorry, but I'm going to say we're streaming the meeting off the screens for members of council. So, sorry. The recorded vote has been called by Councillor Joe Neal.
Can you please clarify what that is? It's Marilyn.
Hi, Marilyn. We're voting on item 1 of the Committee of the Whole report, acquisition of property required for future transit, located on page 53 of your agenda.
Thank you.
Chair, Councillor Collier, can you also make an announcement for people not to put the call on hold so we don't get that annoying beep for a long time?
Yeah, somebody's actually getting a phone call, so.
Yeah, you'll take the recorded vote out in just.
Okay. Will the deputy clerk take the recorded vote, please?
Can everyone hear me?
Yes.
Councillor Anderson?
Yes.
Councillor Ash?
Yes.
Councillor Barton?
Yes.
Councillor Bath Haddon? Yes. Councillor Brenner?
Yes.
Councillor Carter?
Yes.
Councillor Chapman?
Yes.
Councillor Collier?
Yes.
Councillor Crawford?
Yes.
Councillor Dice?
Yes.
Councillor Drew?
Story. Has left the meeting.
Councillor Drew?
Yes.
Councillor Foster?
Yes.
Councillor Hyatt?
Yes.
Councillor Kerr?
Yes.
Councillor Leahy?
Yes.
Councillor Lee? Yes. Councillor Van Pietri?
Declaration.
Councillor McLean?
Yes.
Councillor Mitchell?
Yes.
Councillor Mulcahy?
Yes.
Councillor John Neal?
Has joined the meeting.
No.
Councillor Joe Neal?
No.
Councillor Nicholson?
Yes.
Councillor Pickles?
Yes.
Councillor Roy?
Yes.
Councillor Smith?
Yes.
Councillor Watton?
Yes.
Councillor Yamada?
Yes.
Regional Chair Henry?
Yes.
That carries.
That carries. Members of council, we also pulled the committee, somebody asked for Committee of the Whole report number 2 to be pulled.
I pulled that. I thought I was pulling what we just voted on.
Okay. So
Chair Henry, this is Councillor Pickles here. Could I just get clarification that there was a wording change made to that? Has that already been corrected and made, or do we need a motion to make that wording change?
It was done.
It was done. From the clerk.
Thank you.
Members of council, item number 2 is pulled. So I just call for a vote. All those in favor of item number 2, signify by yes.
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 Yes. Yes. Opposed? None. That carries. Mr. Clerk, going back, health and social services, item number 1 was pulled. I need a mover and a seconder.
Councillor Pickles here. I'll nominate Councillor Chapman.
Seconded by
Wilma Watton.
Councillor Watt.
You beat me.
First of all, Councillor Chapman, will you stand for position? Yes. Okay, members of council, all those in favor, signify by yes.
Yes.
Yes. Opposed? Yes. That carries. The members of council in the room, is there a need for a recess for 10 minutes or not, or to keep pushing through?
No, let's go. Let's go. Let's go.
Recess, Councillor Nicholson, or keep pushing through?
Keep going.
Okay.
Keep going.
Then we'll keep going. Under unfinished business, there is none. Members of council, under other business, item 12.1 on page 54.
Move it. Councillor Collier. Foster. I'll move it.
Moved by Councillor Foster, seconded by
Collier.
Councillor Collier. Mayor Collier, thank you. Okay. Sorry, just give me 1 second. On item 12.1. All those in favor signify by yes.
Yes.
Opposed? None. That carries. Item 12.2 on page 54. Moved by Councillor Chapman. Second. The item has been moved. Councillor Nicholson.
Lazy.
Mr. Chairman, I provided Mr. Wall with an amendment. Is that available for council?
What do you say? Can't hear a word.
I'll try again. I provided Mr. Wall with an amendment to his motion. To be circulated to members of council. Is that available now?
Clarification. Can I get some clarification on speaking? Should we be speaking into our phone with the mute off? Is that what we should be doing when we speak? Okay. But it seems like councillors are clearer when they're actually speaking into their phone. That's all.
Okay. So, Councillor Nicholson has moved an amendment. Is there a second?
What's the amendment?
The amendment was emailed out.
I don't have.
I can't hear a thing.
I don't have it.
What's the amendment?
So
I'm going to move a 5-minute adjournment so we can allow members to look at that.
Reset. Okay. Members of council, I'm going to look for a 10-minute recess so the clerk can get copies to everyone.
By myself.
By Councillor Joe Neal, seconded by Councillor Smith. All those in favor of a 10-minute recess?
Yes.
Opposed? None.
No.
Bob Chapman.
Gord Hyatt.
Has left the meeting.
Dave Barton.
Has joined the meeting.
Bob Chapman.
Has joined the meeting.
So, members of council, please take your seats.
Hold on.
Okay. People trying to take it back. There's a mute button in the middle. We figured something through the next December.
Members of council, a number of you still have your microphones on. So I will call the meeting back to order. Councillor Nicholson has moved an amendment to item 12.2. Is there a seconder?
Second it.
Seconded by Councillor John Neal.
Sean Collier, what's the amendment?
The amendment was emailed to your Collier. You should have it.
Gord Hyatt.
Has joined the meeting.
Okay, does everybody have the email or the actual printed version?
No,
We'll
not
continue.
yet.
Okay. You know what? I'm going to have the clerk read the entire amendment. Thank you, Ahmed.
Try to speak up.
This is moved by Councillor Nicholson, seconded by Councillor John Neal. It is the amendment to item 12.2. It is further read that, 1, the region directs the regional chair and treasurer to allocate funds up to $1 million to assist local food banks and support organizations across Durham region, starting with an initial and immediate $10,000 payment of top-up funds to all food bank organizations in Durham to allow our frontline agencies to be far more effective in meeting the needs of those impacted by the crisis. 2, the region directs the regional chair to write to the Premier on behalf of the region and press the province to bring emergency payment equivalent to 1 month's support to all persons receiving ODSP, Ontario Works, and other provincial assistance programs. 3, the region directs the regional chair to write to the Prime Minister on behalf of the region and press the federal government to provide, as an initial step, a COVID-19 emergency payment equivalent to 1 month's support to all persons receiving CPP, or disability pensions, or any other support payment from the federal government. And 4, the region directs the regional chair to write to the Prime Minister on behalf of the region and press the federal government to provide an immediate payment to all Canadian families to help them deal with the impacts, social, medical, and economic, of the COVID-19 crisis.
Thank you, Mr. Clerk. Councillor Nicholson?
Before I speak, it's my understanding that staff has some information they'd like to provide. before we debate this issue?
Yes, thank you. I'll go to the Commissioner when you're ready, please.
Thank you. Through the chair, you can hear me. The federal provincial government has announced that several different funding streams for individuals and the community. One such stream was announced this week by the provincial government to support families who are not in receipt of social assistance and who require additional support. There's also additional funding available to those families in receipt of social assistance, which includes Ontario Works and Ontario Disability Support Pension. In addition to that, the federal government has announced additional funding for Reaching Home, which is money to support our shelters, food banks, and community agencies. This money will be flowed through to the regional service system managers. The provincial government is also funding us with an additional, not us, province, $148 million provincial money to support food banks, shelters, and other areas that we deem necessary to support our community. Thank you.
Thank you. Councillor Nicholson.
Thank you, and I appreciate that information. I think we're all on the same page, and we're all trying to find a way to deal with this issue. The issue I have and trying to address is twofold. One, our aid agencies out there, our food banks, support agencies, and others, I know in Ottawa are suffering under the pressure. They don't have enough food to come to meetings. And the sad part is the only way they can load their largest is that people in the local grocery stores and take food off those shelves, which is impacting those who are trying to feed their families. A direct payment would allow the frontline to buy direct from wholesalers or distributors and not directly from the grocery stores. This would allow both those in need and families with funds to both get access. The second part, I think the most important part beyond that, is that costs have increased during the COVID-19 crisis. Average food prices down 2% the last 2 weeks. We're seeing a scarcity of food, scarcity of, not because it's not available, it's just that it's being bought quickly. We need to get money into the hands of our citizens to ensure that local businesses, especially small businesses, have a way to replace the paychecks we're not getting right now. Obviously, the region can't fund that. So I'm asking the letters to send the province and the federal government to have that addressed as one-off. It's my understanding that there's some desire that this be referred back to staff and report back to the meeting this week. I'm agreeable to that. And I really ask staff that under their direction and that provided by council, if there's a way to get funds directly before that next meeting, then please, I encourage them to do so. And I would have no objection to 2 weeks deferral so we can get further information on how to proceed on this matter.
Okay. So there's a number of speakers. First speaker on my list was sent in electronically, Mayor Collier.
Oh, thank you, Chair. Through you, I have some questions to staff first.
Okay.
I guess through you to Ms. Taylor, I'm wondering, do we have I know we have a tax rate stabilization fund, for instance. Do we have a reserve fund where requests like this can be accessed from?
Ms. Taylor?
So, if I may, through the chair, we don't currently have a specific reserve fund set aside for this particular purpose. One of the points that is in the report before you is under 3.3A, and the intent there is to give the ability to the chair and CAO, in conjunction with the treasurer, the ability to authorize expenditures deemed necessary. It says to ensure continuous operation of the region's functions, even if such expenditures were not contemplated in the 2020 budget. So what we are discussing at staff of this perspective is as the Commissioner of Social Services indicated, there are a number of programs that are being announced that we will be actively pursuing getting those actions taken. And then in conjunction with the Commissioner of Social Services, then we could identify and assess where there were, I'll say, critical deficiencies that appear to be overlooked, and then we could take a look and address those.
Okay, and thank you. You've correctly sort of answered my next question. So I'll just speak quickly because that was my understanding. There are a lot of new programs coming into place right now, federally, provincially. We don't know exactly how those are going to work, and I don't support making a decision on the floor, just choosing a number when we're already delegating the staff. I think I would much rather have staff and the chair review all the programs properly, actually properly assess the needs, and make those decisions as we're delegating authority for, rather than just this council today just choose a number like what's been put before us to direct. It could be more, it could be less, I don't know. But I think that's the whole point of this motion, is to delegate authority to the chair and the CAO and yourself, the treasurer, to make those decisions. So I won't be supporting the amendment. I think we should be leaving it open for those that we're delegating to make those decisions. Thank you.
I have some electronic ones, and then I'll come back to the people in the council chambers. Mayor Drew. Mayor Drew. Okay. Mayor Foster.
Well, oh, thank good, I'm here. Thank you, Mr. Chair. So I'll support sending this back to staff, but I do have a concern, and I'm sorry I couldn't understand the last bit that Councillor Nicholson said. I'm hearing from my colleagues in Oshawa and Pickering that the food banks, the shelves are bare. If that is the case, doing something now today is a good thing to do, with the knowledge that money is coming from the province, the federal government, to help. If that money doesn't start to flow for a couple of weeks, it's problematic. Could I don't know if it's Ms. Taylor or the CAO, but can we speak to that and your ability with delegated authority to deal with this quickly, rather than waiting 2 weeks? Because if the shelves are bare, 2 weeks is too long for this piece of the amendment.
Through you, Mr. Chair. Can you hear me? We can certainly deal with this on an emergency basis, and I think the first thing we do have to do, which I know the Commissioner of Social Services is working on diligently, is confirm what resources will be flowing through us to those agencies from the provincial and federal governments. If we need to take action prior to the next special council meeting, we certainly would have the authority with this report to do so.
So if I may, my concern would be if that staff reach out, if the need is dire today, regardless of confirming, because it's going to take a while for the federal government, the provincial government, to get numbers to us. If we're out of pocket, but people are going hungry today or tomorrow, we need to take steps now. And if it costs us a little bit, it costs us a little bit. And if you can please confirm that we will do that.
Yes, I can confirm we will do that. And maybe I think the Commissioner has something to add.
Thank you. Through the chair. We're working very closely with our community partners, and in particular Feed the Need, and they are hosting a food drive this week with certain municipalities, as you may know. We're not going to let anybody go hungry. We have already made that decision to support in whatever way we have. There's finances available through our various programs to make sure that the food banks have what they need to carry on until the provincial and federal money comes in.
Okay. Next online is Councillor Anderson.
Thank you, Chair. And on a separate note, I guess it all ties into this. Yesterday, I got a call from a nurse at Marnwood, nursing home in Bowmanville, and it's all over Facebook as well that they have no gloves or any safety equipment. That doesn't only affect the home, it affects the community in general if they don't have supplies like masks and gloves or sanitizers, etc. So I was wondering if through the region, if there's any way we could help them out. And as I alluded to, that affects the community as a whole when it comes to public safety and health concerns.
I'll go to the CAO.
Actually, I'm going to defer this to the Director of Emergency Management, who is in the Council chamber.
Thank you. Through the chair, everyone can hear me. I would just like to advise that we're on a conference call 3 times a week with the Provincial Emergency Operations Center, and we are representing what the community is asking, some health providers are asking, and the province and the federal government are taking the lead in understanding of getting the personal protective equipment, as well as we're working with them to determine the process about priority access and allocation of that. We understand that this is just not a regional issue. It is provincial, national, and international issue. And we continue from every level, for every municipality in the region, plus the region, to continue to push that. I do hear what the council is saying, but I can tell you that this is a continuous issue that we continuously push almost on a daily basis, and we will not stop on that. We will continue to look at that problem, but we'd like to assure you that we are putting this thing forward.
Thank you. And through the chair, that's good to know, because as I said, it goes beyond the nursing home. It does affect the public, the community in Bowmanville, and this is located right in Bowmanville, so it's of a grave concern to me. I am sure Mayor Foster would like to chime in this. He said he would have brought it to your attention as well.
Thank you. Councilor Brennan?
Yeah. I agree with Mayor Foster that I have no problem in this for that. They're getting their high cost.
Reset your microphone again. I'm coming through.
Hear me now? All right. Go ahead. I concur with Mayor Foster and referring it to the special meeting in 2 weeks. What I can say is that in the city of Victory, usually every team of volunteers is involved. And there's no question that our food banks cannot keep up with demand. They're only open 2 days a week, not sufficient. Even if it works,
has left the meeting.
to get more food. The city of Victory is now looking at using its banquet hall as a citizen food bank. They need help. They need help. Really now.
Councilor Smith?
Yes, thank you. I agree with the gist of the motion, and certainly I recognize the need for immediate assistance for some agencies. My wife was in the largest grocery store in Uxbridge yesterday. They were completely out of all baking goods. So people are staying home and baking, I guess, rather than going out to buy. But my question, I wonder if we could get a little clarification when it says local food banks, aid agencies, and support organizations. I just wondered how many that would involve, or how they are classified, I guess, in terms of the aid they provide. I know some, for example, some local Lions clubs provide aid at times of emergencies, and I just wondered if we could get a little clarification on that.
Councilor Nicholson is the mover of the motion. for the amendment?
Yeah, I use the three terms, food banks, aid agencies, and support organizations, so we didn't lose anybody through the cracks. If an organization's out there working hard to provide food and aid to our citizens, we should add them to the list, rather than limit the list to those that might have been there a week or 10 days ago. There are numerous people like care monitors, which are just evolving now, and are working tremendously to help our people. And I tried to keep the three terms so it was a net to catch everybody.
Okay, thank you. Councillor Smith?
Thank you for the clarification.
Okay, I have Mayor Mitchell.
Yeah, thank you. I appreciate the attention of the motion, and actually I think I could support item 1 as a standalone, but I don't think we should dive into all these outcomes right now, and I want to thank staff for all their preparation on that and their indication that they are going to address the needs as they arise. So I would leave it at that. But I appreciate Councillor Nicholson's direction on this.
Mayor Drew, are you back on the line?
Yes, I am. The comments that have been made, I wondered about the definition of aid agencies, and I'm also concerned about overlap. And I've been listening to staff responses, and I believe that staff has got this well in hand, and I would support looking at this at our next meeting and see if there are any gaps that we can address. But it seems that the provincial and federal governments have come to the table on this. So I appreciate the sentiment in the amendment, but I think it's a little bit premature because we don't know where the gaps are. Thank you.
Councillor Roy.
Thank you very much, Mr. Chair. Just in highlight, I appreciate the amendment as well too, but overall, I think that we should allow for staff to work together with our agencies and with our food banks. I know that they have been working very closely because I have referred several of, especially our Salvation Army, and we've been hearing back from even some local churches that have food banks, and there's been a lot of coming together, and staff have been doing a stellar job to support.
Okay, thank you. Councillor Kerr?
Thank you, Chair Henry. I just have a question of the mover with respect to number 4. Number 2 and 3 are specific in the amounts requested, but number 4 isn't. It says provide an immediate payment. I'm just wondering if the mover of the amendment had an idea of what that amount would be for the other bat.
Councillor Nicholson is the mover.
You can, I can't, I suppose.
Thank you for the question. The reason that there were specific amounts listed in 2 and 3 is that those amounts are of record right now. The federal government knows how much is going out pensions. The government knows how much is going out in ODSP payment funds. Those are considered already. Number 4 is simply a plea that we do like to do in the United States and provide funds to every family. And I guess I would suggest you, if the Republican government in the United States last authorized a $2 trillion program, it's time our federal government set up. My number might be your number, but we need the federal government to step up. Here's the number, you get the money to the
Okay, sorry. Okay, Councillor Pickles.
Thank you, Chair. I'm happy to support a deferral if it comes up for 2 weeks or whatever the appropriate time is for staff to report back. I think that's important so that we don't duplicate efforts that are already being made by the federal and provincial government. And I heard the commissioner say that would allow us time to identify gaps where our funding could get the most bang for the buck. So I'm supportive of that, and I did hear from our CAO that they have the ability and in fact are moving forward with funding immediate or emergency needs in the interim to getting some firm direction from staff with respect to gaps in the appropriate agencies. So I'm comfortable on that. I think most members of council will express that. So I'll be supportive of that if that motion comes forward.
Thank you. Councillor Joe Neal.
So, Mr. He won't bother you.
Phone, please. I can't hear you.
I would move a motion to divide items 1, 2, 3, and 4 so they can be voted on separately. Seconder. I hear a dog barking. I don't know if that's in response to my motion or.
That means you're barking up the wall
with a yes. I need a yes. At least the dog agrees with me.
So, members of council, if you're on the line and not speaking, please mute your phone. So, the motion is to divide items 1, 2, 3, and 4. Okay. Division's in order. The motion to divide is seconded by Councillor Smith. Just give me 1 second, please.
Mr. Chairman?
I couldn't hear anything.
So, members of council, before division, is there an intent to refer this back to the next special meeting of council? So I see a nod. So
Marilyn,
the referral.
Marilyn here. I'd be happy to move that deferral.
No, okay, just let me continue, please. So there will be something coming forward shortly that will allow us to do a number of things. My suggestion is let the referral go back to staff. It'll come back to us in a special meeting of council for 2 weeks today, and then we'll move the other part. We'll refer just the amendment back and deal with the next item.
Okay. I still think, Mr. Chair, it should be divided regardless, but are you suggesting I withdraw that at this point?
Well, I would like to move all of it back right now. Let staff come back to us with all the information that they will be gathered for the next 2 weeks. It's flowing very quickly, very fast. And I think that would be a way to do this. So, Councillor Neal, if you would withdraw that, look to the motion to refer just the amendment. We'll pass the other piece.
Okay. I have other amendments, so I'll withdraw that. So the amendment itself is being, can I get clarification?
No. So the motion to divide is being withdrawn. And we're still dealing with the amendment.
Okay. I think I had the floor still.
You still have the floor, but
Okay. I'm asking a question of clarification is, assuming a motion to refer comes forward, is it just that?
It would be to refer the amendment only.
That's fine. Okay.
Now, Councillor Neal, you still have the floor.
I'll move that referral then. I'll move that referral. Well, you were looking for a referral amendment, were you not?
Well, when I asked that, I saw another hand. It doesn't matter. On the motion to refer, there was a second. Councillor Crawford, you had wanted to move this. Are you willing to second this?
100%.
Okay. So moved by Councillor Joe Neal, seconded by Councillor Crawford, that the amendment only, amendment only, be referred to staff to come back at a special meeting in 2 weeks. Everyone's aware of what they're voting on. This is only the amendment and to refer back. All those in favor?
Yes.
Yes. Opposed? That carries. On the main motion, Councillor Joe Neal.
Okay, So I have an amendment with respect to the wording on paragraph 1 to strike the words until expressly by repealed by subsequent bylaw a regional council, and insert the following. So it read effective and continuing while a COVID-19 emergency has been declared in Durham region. If I can get a second.
Okay, but before we do that, and I noticed there's a seconder on the amendment. I'm going to ask our legal counsel, Mr. Westford, this is specifically drafted the way it is for a reason. Can you explain it to members of council, please?
Yes, thank you, Mr. Chair. Can you hear me? Yes, thank you. Through you, Mr. Chair. Yeah, that is an unusual phrasing, I'll admit. You don't usually see a bylaw speak to its own ability to be repealed because, of course, they can always be repealed. However, we use that language, and this was, mind you, before a state of emergency had been declared in Durham. And so it wasn't clear when the province, the declaration from the province would be renewed, or if it would be renewed, or if it would lapse. And so we wanted this to be as broad as possible, and that it would run for as long as it seemed necessary by this council. Now that a declaration of emergency has been declared in Durham, the proposed amendment does make some sense.
And I second it. Yeah, I heard that, Councillor John Neal. Okay. So I'm just waiting for the amendment to come in writing through Councillor.
I'm sorry.
Declared in Durham.
Which section here are you amending things? So it's item 1. Okay.
Mr. Chairman?
Mayor Carter?
It's almost impossible, sir, to be able to...
Sorry, before we go, I'll put you on the speaker's list, but Councillor O'Neill has the floor.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. So, I just think if we're talking about while this emergency really is in effect, so once that goes away, I just think whatever special powers are conferred here should go away at the same time. That's all. And I mean, we do have the ability to convene a meeting now by phone. So like I said, the lawyer said this was done before the emergency was been declared. But I just think there should be some sort of timeline around this. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Mr. Westford?
Thank you, Chair. Yeah, so what has to be remembered is that the ability to hold these meetings electronically is also tied to a state of emergency being declared. So if you let it go the way that it's drafted now, then in the event that council cannot reconvene, if there's a period, even if it's a matter of a couple of weeks, then the powers conferred will continue to exist up until the point of repeal, and so the normal law of the region can continue.
Okay, thank you. Next on the list was Mayor Carter.
First of all, good morning, members of the Regional Council.
You're breaking up, Mayor Carter. Mayor Carter, you're not coming through at all. Try again, Mayor Carter.
Mayor Carter. Morning, it's Dan Carter.
Has left the meeting.
Okay. I'll go to Councillor Nicholson.
I just have a question to the clerk. The motion to repeal this, is it the same, just a plurality council, or does it take special majority to repeal?
Sorry, can you say that again, please, Councillor Nicholson?
The motion is of repeal. So the number of councillors voting in affirmative, the same to repeal as it is passed today.
Sorry, I'm still struggling to hear you.
Let me.
How many votes for the repeal?
I'm not aware of any special provisions from this. I would vision them. It'd be my view that it would be a simple majority.
Okay. Thank you. Councillor Carter, or Mayor Carter, you're back on the line. Mayor Carter? Is there any other member of council wishing to speak to this item?
Recorded vote, please.
It's a recorded vote on the amendment. Sorry, wait 1 second, please. And finally, I'm going to go back to our legal counsel. Does this change the amendment? Does it change the intent of the original motion to cause us difficulty going down the road?
The reason that it was drafted as such was just so that council would have some comfort that they would be able to come back and repeal this in an orderly fashion, and so that the extraordinary measures that are being taken here will be repealed at some point, and so that will front and center in council's mind when they move this matter. That's the reason that it was drafted, to incorporate that. Admittedly, unusual language.
Okay, so thank you. So, Mr. Clerk, would you read the amendment back, please?
Chairman, this is moved by Councillor Joe Neal, seconded by Councillor John Neal. And I would draw your attention page 62, which is the draft bylaw. The motion is to amend provision 1 of the draft bylaw and strike out the words unless expressly by repealed by subsequent bylaw of regional council, and replace it, I believe, with the words while a COVID-19 emergency has been declared in the region of Durham.
One second, please, members of council. Both in the upper in the regional chair, issue of emergency declaration is done in specific when we do that, and it's up to sign the forms. Also, when you end this, it's done exactly the same way. So it is a decision that's made by the mayor or the regional chairs and the declaration of an emergency. So, and what the amendment is trying to accomplish with changing the wording of our it was written. Once you in the declaration, it's a formal process for doing that. So the second it's signed on the declaration for the region is over. So that could be 2 weeks from today, 3 weeks from today, it is 14 from today, 14 days from today, self-isolating at home. So, anyways, members of council, on the amendment,
Has joined the meeting.
we did watch you, Mayor Carter, you wanted to speak on this item?
Mr. Chairman, can you hear me now?
Yeah.
Mr. Chairman, it's almost impossible to participate can't hear the conversation going on. So there are some of us to be able to participate in the because we have no idea what's being voted on or what's being discussed. I heard nothing of what Councillor Nicholson has said, so it really is at a disadvantage right now. So I do apologize that it's impossible for us to hear the conversation, sir.
How this meeting was ended up the way to improve the way in function. I know some folks have difficulty agreeing. Mayor Carter, you prefer the motion, the failure to refer to the amendment?
The original point to that in the agenda, I support that.
I'm going to have to start with the amendment.
Thank you, sir.
Through Mr. Chairman, the amendment submitted by Councillor Joe Neal, seconded by Councillor John Neal, withdraw to your attention page 2 of the agenda. That is the draft bylaw. The amendments will amend Division 1 of the draft bylaw by striking its words until expressly healed by subsequent bylaw and replacing those words while a COVID-19 emergency has been declared in Durham region.
Thank you, Mr. Clark.
Good. Seeing no other hands on the amendment, the recorded vote was called. I will have to do a roll, please.
Anderson.
Yes.
Ash.
Yes.
Parson.
No.
Backhatter.
No.
Brenner.
Yes.
Carter.
No.
Chapman.
No.
Collier.
No.
Crawford.
Yes.
Dodds.
No.
Bruce.
No.
Foster.
No.
Hyatt.
No.
Burr.
No.
Leahy.
No.
Lee.
No.
Marin Pietri.
No.
McLean.
No.
Mitchell.
No.
Mulcahy. John Neal.
Yes.
Joe Neal.
Yes.
Wilson.
No.
Pickles.
No.
Roy.
No.
Smith.
Yes.
Watson.
No.
Yamada.
No.
Chair Henry.
No. The amendment loses. On the item. Oh, sorry, Councillor Joe Neal.
Can't hear a thing.
Use your microphone, please.
Yep. Okay. Councillor Neal, we didn't hear you. Okay, the clerk had heard you.
I believe that the motion that's moved by Councillor Joe Neal, which requires a seconder, but if you go to page 62 again, he's moving a motion to delete sections 1.1 and 1.2.
No. 1.2 and 1.3.
1.2 and 1.3.
To delete those items?
Yeah.
Lost for the lack of a second.
Secondary.
Oh, it's now been seconded. Okay. Councillor Neal, you have the floor.
Okay, so I don't understand
why these would be necessary to make any expenditure, any liability, like without any account. Like, so in other words, it's carte blanche to do anything. And it's not even related to the emergency. So at the very least, should it not have some boundaries around it that it's directly related to COVID-19 issues? But this is complete carte blanche. So, yeah, some of this stuff would take literally days or weeks to bring into effect, I assume. Yet there's no ability to talk to council. Like, I don't get it. So, the regional chair can convene a meeting now with all the abilities to participate by electronic means. Yet, you're being asked to take any action, make any expenditure, any liability. Mr. Webster.
Yes, thank you. Through you, Mr. Chair. 2 points in response to the question. The first is that this authority is almost exactly the authority that was given during the lame duck period of the last council. This is not novel. Secondly, I'll just note that the ability to make those expenditures is tempered in that they have to be, in the opinion of the regional chair or CAO and the treasurer, required to maintain and ensure the appropriate continuity of regional operations. So it's not intended to be used wildly. It's intended to ensure the continuous operation of regional activities.
Thank you. Councillor Neal?
Recorded vote, please.
Appropriate time. Councillor Crawford?
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I just wanted to make a point that Ajax Council also did this delegated authority thing, but what we asked for was that we have an update on decisions that have been made at the end of every week. Is that something that we could incorporate with the regional staff?
That is, it will be a lot of work considering all the things that are going on right now. We are currently trying to set up a weekly update with the mayors of the communities, and we're working on that right now. That information should flow down to all the members of their council.
And that would be fine. If it goes up to mayors and we're at least copied on the decision making, it gives us some sort of peace of mind of, not that we don't trust, but that it's unusual. We're in an unusual situation where we do feel a bit blind. And if we're asked by constituents, it's good to be able to have that information right away.
Yeah, we will do our best to keep all members of council updated as we've been sending stuff out to you currently.
Thank you.
Okay, I saw one more hand, Mayor Foster.
Well, thank you, Mr. Chair. I would make a point. We're assuming that we can call special meetings of council. We were here 2 weeks ago, and none of us would have envisioned what we are going through today. None of us had a clue. So to presuppose that it would be very easy to get a quorum or call a meeting of council 2 weeks from now, is maybe a bit much on ourselves. The other is, there's a sense that perhaps the regional chair, treasurer, CAO are going to abuse, what's in front of us. One, I have no sense whatsoever that would happen. And even if it did happen, that would not happen without consequence, because when this is over, the CAO, the treasurer, and in fact the chair is going to be responsible to council as a whole. So this isn't an exercise in impunity moving forward to do whatever is at the whim of the chair. and certainly the treasurer and the CAO would be desperately concerned. In terms of the report, and thank you, Chair Henry, for putting in place regular updates. I think the update on things of a significant nature that is untimely and appropriate, and certain all mayors will share them. I wouldn't get into the minutiae. If you need an extra box of pencils, we don't care. But certainly to keep informed, I think that's a really good request. Thank you.
Councillor Kirk.
Thank you, Chair Henry. I guess the aspect of this, boy, I'm having trouble. I'm getting feedback from my ear. Can you hear me okay?
Yeah.
Okay, glad you can. So, what it comes down to me is, notwithstanding the fact that we approved the 2020 budget for the departments that seem to be an issue here in some councils' mind, transit, housing, police service, is it your contention that with this COVID situation, there will in fact be impacts on these areas that we can foresee, and this is merely to allow you the benefit to react to those and adjust these departments' expenditures as necessary? That's all that's really being asked for you, correct? Thank you. Thank you very much. I'll support this. Thank you.
Any other member of council? Or the vote is called on the amendment by Councillor Joe Neal.
Anderson.
No.
Ash.
No.
Barton.
Just. Oh no, no. Sorry about that. Yeah, I just want to make sure it wasn't on the total motion. It's just on the amendment.
It's only on the amendment.
Yeah. No.
Barton.
No.
Beth Adler.
No.
Brenner.
No.
Carter.
No.
Chapman.
No.
Ollier.
No.
Crawford.
No.
Dawes.
No.
Drew.
No.
Foster.
No.
Isle.
No.
Burr.
No.
Leahy.
No.
Lee.
No.
Aaron Pietri.
No.
McLean.
No.
Mitchell.
No.
Mulcahy.
No.
John Neal.
Yes.
Joe Neal.
Yes.
Nicholson.
No.
Pickles.
No.
No.
Smith.
No.
Watson.
No.
Yamada.
Yes.
Chair Henry.
No. Amendment loses. Councillor Joe Neal.
Okay, so I have an amendment to paragraph 1.7, so that this would be added to 1.7, that a special meeting of council be convened to consider a temporary tax forgiveness program for A, homeowners lost their job as a result of being employed in a company forced to shut down, and B, businesses that have been forced to shut down. That's seconded by John Neal.
I'll have the clerk. Do you have it in writing, Mr. Clerk?
I do.
Okay, 1 second, please. But if you refer back to that meeting in 2 weeks. Councillor Neal, it was moved and seconded. We have a meeting in 2 weeks.
Right.
I would look for a referral on that back to staff to have a look at it and bring back that report at the next council meeting.
At the next council or special meeting?
Well, it's going to be a regular. It's a special meeting of council in 2 weeks.
Yeah, I'll move that.
Second. Okay. Is that an order, Mr. Clerk? Okay. That be referred back to the special meeting of council 2 weeks from today. All those in favor, signify by yes. Yes. Opposed? No. That only on the amendment that was referred back. On the main motion. Call the vote. Recorded vote called by Councillor Ash. Sorry, Councillor Chapman. Recorded vote called by Councillor Chapman.
Anderson. Yes. Ash.
Yes.
Haddon.
Yes. Has left the meeting.
Barton, yes. Yes.
Brenner.
Yes.
Carter.
Yes.
Chapman.
Yes.
Alger.
Yes.
Crawford.
Yes.
Dobbs.
Yes.
Drew.
Yes.
Foster.
Yes.
Aye.
Yes.
Kirk. Yes. Leahy.
Yes.
Lee.
Yes.
Miriam Pietri. Yes. McLean.
Yes.
Mitchell.
Yes.
Mulcahy.
Yes.
John Neal.
No.
Joe Neal.
Yes.
Nicholson.
Yes.
Pickles.
Yeah.
Roy.
Yes.
Smith.
Yes.
Watson.
Yes.
Yamada.
Yes.
Chair Henry.
Yes. That carries. Okay. 1 second, members council.
Councillor Anderson had an item under new business. Want to ask him?
Councillor Anderson, you have an item under new business?
Yeah, but I dealt with it under Council Nichols' motion.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
1 second, please.
Has joined the meeting.
Just confirming with the clerk. I will now go to Councillor Ash, please, on the bylaws.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. It's moved by myself and second by Councillor Chapman that bylaws number 15-2020 to 17-2020 inclusive be passed.
Okay. Members of council, hearing no one, we will call the vote. All those in favor?
Yes. Yes.
Yes. Opposed? None. That carries. Councillor Ash, please.
Moved by myself and second by Councillor Chapman that bylaw number 18-2020 being a bylaw to confirm the proceedings of the Council of Regional Municipality at their meeting held 25th day of March 2020 be passed.
Okay, on the confirming bylaw, all those in favor?
Yes.
Yes. Opposed? None, that carries. Just before we adjourn, a special thank you to all of our staff in all parts of the region for the great work they've done in dealing with this virus. To our in our clerk's department, thank you for making this first electronic meeting of council work. To all the members of council, thank you for doing your work and being prepared for this meeting. And together we'll get through this. I'm looking for a motion. Oh, sorry.
Councilor Marion Guthrie will move adjournment.
Hey.
Crawford second. Has left the
To all
meeting.
members of council that have headphones, please take them with you. Remember to charge them for the next meeting. You were given a cord that will allow you to charge them. Okay, I will look for a motion to adjourn.
Councilor Marion Guthrie will move adjournment. Go ahead.
Has left the meeting.
Was that you, Councilor Marion Pietri?
Yes, it was.
You'll second the adjournment?
Yes.
Has left the meeting.
Okay. All those, moved by Councilor Smith, seconded by Councilor Marion Pietri on adjournment. All those in favor say yes.
Yes.
Yes. Opposed? None, that carries. Thank you very much,
Has
everyone.
left the meeting.
There's also actually here at the Oak Ridges Golf Club on the Saturday before the walk, they're actually doing a golf tournament.
And they do this every year as well?
And they do it every year. And these
Marvelous.
are the Lions out of Oshawa West that do it. So it's a whole bunch of different activities. They're all collecting money for the dog guides. We do an awareness campaign at the local shopping center, and that money goes into for the dog guides.
And you do have some wonderful support with some wonderful sponsors. Tell us about that.
Well, I can share my personal experience on that in terms of when we started the walk here in Port Perry in 2018. One of the supporters, what the actual newspaper, Chris Hunt, one of the reporters, actually featured Max on the front page asking for volunteers for our organizing committee. This is the first time we were doing it in Port Perry, and we had some great people come forward. Sue Brain was one of them. Anna was another one. There was Scott from Pet Value here, John Eden. There was a couple of other people on the mind slips. But these volunteers just came together.
That's wonderful.
And then after that, we sat back and we started asking the local businesses for help. And Terry Voss from Voss Independent said, "Don't worry, I'll do lunch." And I'm looking at him, and then he gave us a check for, I call it the golden level, which was a huge amount as far as I was concerned. I'm looking at it and I'm going, this is incredible. And he provided not just hot dogs, but beverages and that
leads us into the volunteer program. Are you always looking for volunteers?
We're looking for two sides of it. One of them is we have an organizing committee that's very tight. We're 7 right now, right? But we work well together. So the key thing I want to mention is Anna actually sent an email after the first walk, and she said, "I'm blown away by what 7 people around a kitchen table can do."
Right.
Then the day of the walk, we have a tremendous need for volunteers, and people are coming forward for that. The Lions are helping out. Right at home, the real estate people are helping out. Everybody is chipping in because that's when we need it.
And you said, how many dogs have you saved so far?
I think we haven't. This year we've actually, the last year count was 303 dogs entered into the program. Now, out of that, you're probably going to have some of them that decide they want a career change somewhere in the program. And so we're coming in the 270s, 280s
But
range.
you're helping a lot of people.
One of the areas that one of our team members, Sue Brain, is extremely excited about and is the autism side.
Yes.
And her comment is, here we are giving an autistic person a real start in life. So the dog comes into their lives when they're 3 or 4 years old, and lasts for 10 years. Those are the formative years of a child.
Yeah.
And to be able to have something like a Max type of dog to during those growth years when you have a disability
Yes.
is invaluable.
And that's the wonderful work that you folks do. And lastly, I do understand you have a breeding program.
There is a breeding program out of Breslau, Ontario. So the dogs are actually bred for temperament and for adaptability for the actual task at hand.
And that's fantastic. I mean, you're doing such wonderful work. Oh, bless you, Max. You're so cute. And you know, we're so grateful because you all work so incredibly hard. This is, and I'd like to mention as well, this is a charity, and you help so many folks that have a variety of disabilities, and you're placing them with a wonderful dog that's a pet, a companion, a service dog. And you're helping so many people. We want to thank you for that. Ivo, it's such a pleasure to have you in today.
It's a pleasure.
And thank you for bringing
Max. Come on, boy. Nope.
If you would like some more information, this is a wonderful charity. Please check them out. It's walkthedogguides.com. So check out the website, and we're going to have more animal companions right after this short break. Stay with us.
This program is brought to you by Ignite TV. Now you're in command. Visit Rogers.com for more details.
After a night out with your friends, there's always options for getting home safely. You could call your BFF, your mom or dad, whoever you can count on for a safe ride home. You could call your favorite cab company or 1-888 taxi guy. Or you could use the Arrival Live smartphone app to help you choose your ride. Be it a friend, transit, or taxi, getting home safely is app easy. Now available for iOS and Android devices. Visit arrivallive.org to find out more. Arrival Live. Drive sober.
Johnny wanted to go back home. It was 1,000 kilometers away. They forced him to go to the Indian residential school. More than 150,000 of us children had to go. They wanted to change us.
Our Father in heaven, hallowed be your name.
Hallowed be your name.
Thy kingdom come.
Thy kingdom come.
Thy will be done.
Thy will be done. Kill the Indian and the child. It's been called cultural genocide. I survived residential school. My brother Johnny did not.
Chani Wenjack was one of thousands of children who died due to Canada's residential school system. More than 80,000 survivors and their families still live with its legacy today.
Hi, welcome back to Animal Companions. I'm here with Colleen and Tessa Ferguson, and they have this, it's called Opening Cages. This is what they've developed, and welcome.
Thank you.
And I do want to let you know that in honor of Opening Cages and all the wonderful furry babies that you've rescued, I have changed. I'm now in a cat top. I am a cat lady too, so it's all right. We're all together in this. And you know, you've done some wonderful things, and I do want to start with the fact that you had a calling very early in childhood. Tell us about that.
Yes. So I have always had an obsession with animals my whole entire life, right from little. I grew up on a farm in Epsom, right close here, and just any animal that was wild or domesticated, I was with it all the time. And I would help little mice and, you know, find them underneath the bales of hay when they were baling the hay, and any animals at all, whether they were in the barn or cats and dogs. We had them. Our whole family are animal lovers, and I just always had an obsession. As I grew up, I would tame stray cats that were in the neighborhood. I took in a mother cat that was pregnant, and it's just always been an obsession of mine.
That's amazing.
I've always loved it.
And I know that back in, I think it's 2016, you started and you were volunteering for the Humane Society in Durham Region. And how did you find that?
Yeah, so we have been volunteers with the Humane Society Durham Region since 2016, looking after foster kittens. That was our main interest, and we've had almost 100 cats and kittens since we started that. And we just recently had puppies, which was something new that we didn't think we would do. We just had them like 2 weeks
That's
ago.
amazing.
And gave them back, which was really hard.
Oh, I can
Yeah, we love
imagine.
it.
You also have a very special story. Share the story about Penny. It's very touching and heartfelt. I'd love to have you share it with our friends at home.
Do you want to talk about that?
Sure. So Penny was one of the animals that we fostered. She was on vacation because she was in the shelter for about 10 months, which is pretty long for a cat to be in a shelter. So we had her on vacation, and when she came home, her joints were all, what's the word? Stiff. Yeah, she was having trouble walking, so we were just so heartbroken about Penny. So we came up with the Penny process to try to get animals out of the cages faster, which started opening cages.
Which is fantastic. And you founded that back in 2018.
That's right. That's when the idea came up.
It's fairly new.
Yeah, it's very new. We just really launched the processes a couple months ago, actually, where we're now ready to start helping shelters. And
I also know that you do give back, which is what I like, that you are giving back to the shelters. Tell us about that.
Yeah, so we anything we do when we're doing trade shows, promoting our services, they're all free services that we provide for shelters. Whenever we are at a trade show or anything, if we sell any products at all, we donate 20 to 25% back. And we've recently developed a mobile app that was originally designed to help the foster system. It's to recruit foster parents. We have a little section that shows people what fostering is all about, because we feel it's a very misunderstood duty.
Yes.
And so we have Tess and I explaining all the objections people may have to fostering. We cover in our videos. And if you become a foster parent, we have a supportive section in there that helps you be a good foster parent, be more in control, more managed. And then that information goes right back to the shelters. And then we also have a pet owner version, and this is where we're going to be donating back. So again, it's all free, but the pet owner version, next year, or maybe the end of this year, we will have an optional paid version of the app for pet owners only. And we will donate 25% of our gross profits back to the animal organization